Let's make a league-specific arsenal using only Storm, Rotorgrip, and 900 global bowling balls. Now, quick preface, make sure you go watch my video boosting your league average and building a league arsenal to be able to have the best tips on being able to build an arsenal specific for your center. But with that, we're going to start with the strong and smooth category. Now, I like to not pick the biggest and strongest bowling ball for league. You don't really ever need that. You don't need the harsh realities of the world. You don't need the new Ion Maxes of the world for league. In my opinion, the Rotogrip XL is going to be plenty of bowling ball for any of your league. So there aren't many leagues that have an absurd amount of oil. Usually they're on the lower side of oil volume. So an XL might be a little too strong for a lot of you, but for a speed dominant bowler or somebody that needs something for the cliff, the XL is going to be perfect. It isn't that top of the top bowling ball, but it's still an asymmetrical, solid piece that's going to hook in oil, that's going to be pretty smooth, that's going to be pretty rolly because the core is so big. So first one is going to be the Rotogrip XL. Next ball on the list in the strong and sharp category, we have to go with one of my personal favorite league bowling balls, the Rotogrip Attention Star. When this thing came out late last season, this one took everyone by storm, no pun intended. The Attention Star is awesome on league patterns. It had so many honor scores already. It is insane. That is probably one of our biggest sellers at our personal pro shop because of just how great it is on a house shot. The core is big, the cover is small, it gets through the front of the lane no matter how much oil there is. It's not too sharp when it gets into friction. It's not too dead when it gets into oil. It is just the perfect go-to league ball. It is great for a house shot, great when they're a little bit easy. Now, next one is going to take a few people by surprise, but for the medium and smooth slot, I'm not actually putting the Phase 2, surprisingly. I wanted to put the Phase 2 so badly, it hurts me to say I'm not, but I'm going to put the new Storm Summit Ascent in the medium and smooth category. Now, I'm going to talk about the Phase 2 for a second. While the Phase 2 is arguably the best ball ever made, in my opinion, the greatest ball ever, it is just not the perfect league ball. It is very, very good, and that can definitely be in this slot. I think that's the number 2, but the Storm Summit Ascent is just a little bit better because it has that weaker cover stock and that stronger core. So the mismatches of core and cover tend to do really well on house shots because it's not going to be as consistent. On a house shot, you don't need consistency. You need consistency on a sport shot. You need stuff that you know this is going to be slow all the time, or this is going to be sharp all the time. League, you want a little bit of, you want it to be sharp when it gets to friction, it absolutely needs to be, but you want it to be smooth when you miss in. So this Summit Ascent is going to be great because the core is so big and the cover is so tiny that it's going to be able to do a lot when you miss left to right. The Phase 2 is just so consistent that if you miss right, the ball is going to hook early. It's going to do that no matter what, no matter how much oil there is. And if you miss left, the ball's going to hook a little bit in the oil. It's going to be fine. But the Summit Ascent is going to be just a little bit different where it's going to be able to knock out those corner pins. It's going to be able to get through those 8 and 9 pins so that you can boost your scores a little bit higher, because remember, your ball really matters in league if you want to get up to like a 220, 230 average. Now, coming into the medium and sharp slot, we're going to go with something a little bit stronger. We're going to go with the 900 Global Sublime. Similar to the Summit Ascent, this ball is just a great sharp option where the core is big, the cover is fairly strong. It's a hybrid, so it wants to hook a little bit earlier, but it still gets pretty far down lane because of the shine. You're going to notice a common trend with a lot of these balls is they're going to be bigger cores and they're going to be medium-ish cover stocks, and that's what the Sublime is perfectly. It is a massive core, as big as the Summit core, one of the strongest symmetrical cores on the market today, but with that weaker cover stock, it's going to be able to do everything when you need to get left. This ball, I've seen it good as a transition ball. It's been decent as a burn ball if you are a little more speed dominant, and it's even really good as a starting ball. So Sublime will be fantastic in this slot. All right, for the weak and smooth category, we're jumping like 4 levels down on this one. There's a big gap between the mediums and the weaks on the Storm side because they don't really have much in those slots right now, unfortunately, but we are going with the Hustle X-Ray, the new solid Hustle. This one is just going to be chuggy. It's going to be rolly. It's going to be weak enough, though, where it gets through the front of the lane. You're going to be able to play straight with this one. If you're somebody who likes to play right up 10 all the time and you like to play like a lefty does, where you ball down instead of moving in in, then this X-ray is going to be a great play when you get to the burn because you're going to be able to play in your spot yet when there's a lot of early hook, and this hustle can get through it and be smooth enough on the back end where it's not going to just go sideways. Now, any hustle could fit in this slot. The RIP would also fit. Even the M&M to a certain degree could fit here, but I think the X-ray is going to be the best option if you want smooth. And finally, for the weak and sharp category, there's a couple balls that can fit here, but it slightly pains me to say this because this is such an expensive ball. But the Lightning Blackout is an incredible league ball because, again, like I mentioned earlier, the core and cover don't match up. Now, this one, the cover is super strong, the core is super weak, which makes it a really good league ball. You can play straight with it, you can play through the friction just like that Hustle X-Ray, and it's going to be able to kick out corner pins. It's going to get a little further down lane, be a little bit sharper, but not too sharp where it's going to go like absolutely sideways if you get it to the friction early. So that Lightning Blackout can be a really good option, again, if you like playing up 10 no matter what. Now, there's a couple other options in this slot. Another Hustle, if you're a little more rev dominant, could work really, really well. Otherwise, the Exponent Pearl is going to be a little bit stronger, but it's going to be a great weak and sharp ball. It's going to be below the Sublime. It's going to fill that slot a little bit better because right now, the gap between the Sublime and the Lightning Blackout is pretty big because there aren't many balls that Storm has in those slots. They don't have many weaker, medium, and sharp options. They just have their stronger, medium, sharp options, and they drop down to the weak and sharp. So I think this Lightning Blackout would be a great option. Otherwise, an Exponent Pearl. Otherwise, a Hustle. Now remember, if you want to get your average from about 190 to 200 up to the 220 and 30, choosing the proper ball and having the right ball motion is key because all that stands in your way is 2 10 pins. 2 10 pins a game and you can boost that average, and that very largely depends on the bowling ball and knowing what your ball motion is. Now, yes, you can sometimes go into league with one ball and just whack it if you match up correctly, but matchups are important, so you want to have a lot of options. And this hopefully gives you a lot of options. Another reminder, do not buy all 6 of these. Do not bring a 6-ball arsenal to league. If you want to, go nuts. You can bring as many as you want. But I would not recommend it. Go back and check out my How to Build a League Arsenal video, which I'll have linked, and then you can choose whatever balls you want from this list. But otherwise, that is going to do it. Make sure you like and subscribe for more videos like this. I'll be covering Hammer and the Brunswick brand soon after this. Thank you guys so much for watching.